All right, dinner tonight is going to be a honey garlic chicken stir fry. And I'm going to start by making the bulk of the sauce, the honey garlic sauce. And that's going to be a quarter cup of each of these, the oyster sauce, the soy sauce, the honey. I'll do a tablespoon of the toasted sesame oil. And then later we'll balance the honey with some juice from a lemon and some lemon zest. All right, and here's a look at the ingredients we'll use in the rest of the recipe. Like I said, I'll balance the honey in the sauce with the lemon and some lemon zest. I got 1 yellow onion, some broccoli here. I'm going to poach that in chicken broth. I got some white mushrooms here chopped up. Honey garlic chicken wouldn't be much without a lot of garlic. And I got some scallions, a little hot sauce there at the end to taste. And I got my salt and pepper. All right, let's get the wok out. Okay, I've got the rice going. I poached the broccoli in some chicken broth. We're going to brown the chicken first, and then we're going to reserve that off to the side. And then we'll add the chicken back in near the end just to warm it back up. So there's a little of my homemade clarified butter. We want this wok to be nice and hot. Let that get a little hotter. What we want to do is start to brown the chicken, and that browning is the Maillard reaction, and that's the breaking down of the proteins on the surface of the chicken from the high heat, and that releases a bunch of flavors. There's a big reason why a boiled steak is different than a grilled steak. It's all because of that Maillard reaction. Okay, we're into the mid 300s. We'll get the chicken in there. A little green onion from the chopping board. Now when it hits that high heat pan, it is going to stick, so it won't move around real easy. I don't want to force it. I want it to, that Maillard reaction to happen, and it'll naturally release on its own. And we don't want to fully cook the chicken here. We are going to put it back in near the end of the dish. It'll need heated back up, and we can finish off, the cooking at that time. There's my in there. Oh, yeah. Okay, and now I'm starting to see some of the little brown bits there sticking to the cast iron. You know, that's coming off the chicken. That's that Maillard reaction. And again, that's packed with flavor, and that's actually going to be the base of this honey garlic sauce. Okay, just another few seconds here, and we'll get that chicken out, and we'll get started on the other stuff. Get Old Faithful out here and scrape that up a little bit. We'll take all the solid chunks out, but again, all those brown bits, that's going to be a nice flavorful start to this sauce. Maybe I'll deglaze that a little bit. Where's my white wine? Where did you go? Ah, there we go. So we'll get that off. Deglaze that pan. And the alcohol will evaporate right out of there. And there's still some of that clarified butter. And we're going to start with the onions. Onions are always first. There we go. See, that wine knocked all those bits, the burn bits off of there. And now it's just going to cook right up in the rest of the dish. I think I'll add a little more clarified butter. Never have enough butter. Okay, the onions take a while to caramelize, but pretty soon here I'll throw in the mushrooms. I just got some white mushrooms and they're full of water. Got to release all that water. Okay, onions are coming along. Let's get them mushrooms in there. When you add the mushrooms, it's time to add some salt. Salt will help those mushrooms release all that water. It might be about time for the next ingredient, and that'll be the whiter parts of the green onions. All right, the mushrooms look like they're coming along really well. We've come to a pivotal part in any recipe. We're really close to adding all the liquids. And for the liquids, that's that sauce I mixed up right at the beginning. But before any liquids go in, if we're going to add garlic, this is the time to do it. Garlic's easy to burn. We just want to give it 45 seconds to a minute. And I think it does best when it dissolves in an animal fat. So I got just a little more clarified butter. I'm going to put it right there in the middle. And then I've got my fresh garlic right here. I'll pop that in there. And again, maybe about a minute tops is all it's going to need. As soon as you can smell it, you know it's really at its prime. It's releasing all its flavors and aromas. Oh, I love the smell of fresh garlic. Like I was saying, it's easy to burn, so when it gets with we get that aroma, we'll add in our liquids, and that'll bring the cooking process to a grinding halt to make sure our garlic doesn't burn. Okay, here we go. Add in our honey garlic sauce. And I'm going to put the heat down just a little bit. That's good. Now the sauce right now should be real sweet because I added all that quarter cup of honey. And I'm going to balance that. I'll start with a tablespoon of lemon juice and the zest of a lemon. So that's what I'm going to be working on now as this comes back up to temp. There we go. The zest of a lemon. And now I'm going to cut it in half and get the juice out of there. Like I said, I'll add at least a teaspoon. And then I'll just go by taste, add more lemon, add more honey as required. All right, half of that lemon gave me about 2 tablespoons. So I'll put a half of that in there, maybe a little bit more than half, and save a little bit off to the side. And before I forget, because sometimes I do, I'm going to add a little hot sauce. Just a splash. Now the only thing we got left to put in there, we'll add in the poached broccoli. Bring that up to temperature. It's cooked from the poaching. We'll add in the chicken. That'll just need to come back up to temp. And I have the tops of the green onions. You know, those don't need to cook at all. We could just eat those raw. Okay, let's get the chicken in there. And the broccoli. Alright, I guess it's time we could try out the sauce. Again, I got extra honey. I have extra lemon juice, depending on how it goes. Ooh, I can taste a good amount of that lemon, so I'm going to hit it with a little more honey. Alright, I'll let that mingle in there and then give it another taste test. Okay, let's try the sauce again. Oh, there it is. Just perfect. Just the right blend. Get the tops of the green onions in there. And it's almost dinner time. Alright, looks good. I'm going to kill the heat and add a couple of tablespoons of whole butter in there, just to add to the creaminess of that sauce. Oh, maybe break up some of these bigger pieces of chicken. One last check of the sauce. All right. I like to serve this over a bed of rice in a nice little pasta dish with plenty of that sauce. There we go. See you in class.